Okay, let's have a little chat about the German economy. This is a topic that may come up in the paper. You studied it for a couple of lessons in class. Quite a tricky, difficult topic. Anyway, we'll go through it again, see if it makes sense to you. German economy. To be absolutely honest, you know, one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, that Hitler was voted into power was that he promised, or appeared to promise, to people that he would reduce the number of unemployment in the German economy. It's the main reason people voted for him, because there were so many people out of work. The depression, the Wall Street crash caused a depression, which led to 6 million Germans being unemployed. So this is why we find huge numbers of people voting for Hitler in the first place, because he promises to get Germany working again. Okay, does he succeed? It's the Nazi Party's #1 priority when they become the government in 1933, get Germany working again. Okay, what do? The first thing they try to do is to create jobs. How can a government create jobs? It begins to spend money on big projects that will then employ people. The 3 big projects that it embarks upon, firstly, the construction of autobahns all across Germany. Autobahns are the world's first motorways. Long before Britain, even before the United States, Germany is building a massive network of autobahns in Germany. This is a dual purpose. Firstly, and obviously, it takes people to build these things, huge project, so that will reduce the unemployment figures. Secondly, it has a kind of military purpose. You can then transport troops and weapons across these motorways in the event of war. And of course, Hitler is thinking about war. What else do? They build huge stadiums and arenas and amphitheatres for the Olympics. The Olympics are being held in 1936. Huge construction projects to build the Olympic stadia. And thirdly, the Germans invest a huge amount of money in the car industry. Most notably, of course, in the design and build of the Volkswagen Beetle that we still see on the streets today. It originates in Germany. It's the so-called people's car, designed to be affordable to everybody, designed to be the equivalent of the Model T Ford in America, a car that's affordable to the ordinary guy on the street. And workers who work for Volkswagen are encouraged to put aside some of their wages in the expectation that they will have one of these wonderful machines sometime in the future. In reality, of course, no one ever gets any of these cars, because as soon as war breaks out, production is stopped and the factories start producing tanks instead. Okay, 3 examples of the government investing in the economy. Job creation. Okay, in 1935 the Nazis introduced something called the National Labour Service. In German, the RAD. And this is compulsory for all men between 18 and 25. They have to work on these government projects. They don't have any option. The hours are very long, the pay is not very good. There are lots of stories about people complaining about working on these things, but again, it takes people off the dole, it reduces the unemployment figures. What else is happening? As soon as the Nazis get in, they begin to put pressure on Jews to leave their jobs and reduce their business opportunities, as they're taken out of the professions, doctors, the dentists, the teachers, etc. This allows Germans to take their jobs, again reducing the unemployment figures. Then in 1937, rearmament begins to kick in a big way. The Germans begin to spend a huge amount of money on building tanks and aeroplanes and submarines and battleships, and it takes enormous amounts of people to do this, and enormous amount of steel and coal and timber. So again, it's reducing unemployment. What else can we talk about? They also set up something called the Labour Front. And this is an organisation that is meant to represent the rights and the thoughts and the feelings of ordinary workers, normally done by trade unions. Of course, the Nazis have scrapped all the trade unions, so this organisation is designed to replace the trade unions and argue for the case of the workers and try and ensure they get decent wages. Doesn't really have any teeth, doesn't really have any power. And they also set up something called the KDF. And the KDF is an organisation called Strength Through Joy, which is meant to encourage people and reward people for working very, very hard. How do they reward them? with trips to the theatre, trips to the opera, trips to sporting events, and in some cases holidays and cruises. These are the big kind of attractive things that this organisation, the KDF, provides for workers if they're working very, very hard. Okay, do the Nazis succeed in revitalising the economy? They certainly reduced the unemployment levels. I think this is largely due to rearmament rather than anything else. After 1936-37, a huge amount of effort is put into rebuilding Germany's armed forces, and it grows from 100,000 to well over 1 million by the outbreak of war. If we're talking about the economy, we must talk about two guys as well. Firstly, a guy called Dr. Schacht. He's an economic genius in a way, and his new plan between 33 and 37 is based on this thing called autarky, trying to make Germany self-sufficient so it doesn't have to import rubber or steel from other countries but can make them itself. He falls out of favour in 36, and Goering and the 4-year plan replaces him. This is more driven by, as I was speaking about before, by a rearmament for war. These two people are very, very important. I'll just show you the list of all the things you might have to consider. Again, look at your notes, look at the stuff you wrote on the economy.